They don't even see themselves as creators of journalism. So why the heck do you expect better than this? You know, when you say, are they doing their job properly? I say that they are doing someone's job very well.
तुम्ही पत्रकार आहेत खालीचे मुलगे, परंतु जे पत्रकार असतात ते विकले जातात. जे प्रत्येक पत्रकार आहेत ना ते मोदी सरकारचे पत्रकार आहेत. त्या आदिवासींसाठी शेतकऱ्यांसाठी पत्रकार नाही आहेत. जे आहेत ते सरकारला विकले जातात ते पत्रकार. त्याच्या पुढे गोरगरीब लोकांच्या त्या ठिकाणी आपले जे काय मागणी असतात, काय लोकांना त्रास होतो ते पोचू शकत नाही त्यांच्याकडे.
This is Indra Mangal Singh Chauhan, whose brother was one of the 15,000 farmers who committed suicides in 2015. India is a land famous for its heritage, culture and food. It is also where mandirs and masjids are highlighted and the degrading conditions of government schools in rural areas is ignored, where a cow's life is weighed or a human life, and where our Prime Minister's morning schedule is given more coverage than the suicides of 15,000 farmers per year. Yes, you heard it right. Farmers, the food providers of the country who get paid 10 rupees for a kilo of apples which is being sold at 110 rupees in the market, are going through a deep agrarian crisis. We bet that the majority of you watching this are miles away from keeping up with this information. We don't blame you at all. As democratic citizens, we're supposed to form our opinions on issues that are of a grave concern for the country. But what will happen if the institution solely responsible for the information dissemination does not put forth the right information at the right time with an informed opinion about it? Let us understand how serious and grave the farmers' issue is by first taking a look at the absolute negligence of Swaminathan Commission report.
The National Commission for Farmers was set up and Dr. Swaminathan was the chairman and he submitted reports. The latest report was submitted by Swaminathan Committee in 2004-2006 where they addressed these issues and they have recommended certain interventions in terms of land reforms, in terms of irrigation, in terms of credit, in terms of marketing, in terms of food security, in terms of social security. And based on these recommendations, state government is trying to implement or actually formulating policies, programs, schemes to basically help farmers to come out of this distress.
The Swaminathan Commission is not a government policy. The National Commission for Farmers was set up by the government, of which Professor Swaminathan was the chairperson. They made a number of extremely important recommendations which have never been even discussed in Parliament, let alone implemented. So the question of there being policy, it's never been policy.
The Swaminathan Commission basically addressed farmers' distress issue in a holistic way. Suppose like MSP is one of the intervention. MSP basically gives assurance to the farmer that okay, government will buy your produce at this particular rate. This was to actually prevent losses because of overproduction and glut in the market, at the same time to achieve food security.
Now what we see is that people, like you pointed out earlier, farmers having less than 2 hectares of land even today have such policies which are so discriminated in terms of providing MSP, in terms of providing subsidies which are away from MSP, in terms of providing diesel subsidies for their trucks, tractors, for every day-to-day factors for that connected to them, that connect to them.
नहीं देखिए, ऐसा है, जो भी मीडिया है, चाहे प्रिंट मीडिया हो चाहे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया हो, हमें लगता है इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया पूरी तरह से देश में ये जो अर्बन पॉपुलेशन है उसको टारगेट करके चीज़ें आगे बढ़ाता है. जब भी कोई सब्जी के रेट बढ़ जाएंगे, किसानों को 2 पैसा मिलेगा, तो एक हाहाकार पूरे चैनलों पे दिखने लगता है कि सब्जी महंगी हो गई, प्याज महंगा हो गया. जब किसानों को दाम मिलने लगता है तो माहौल बनाया जाता है ताकि दाम ना मिले. तो हमें लगता है एक सोच जो है अर्बन और रूरल जो एक अलग अलग बटा हुआ भारत है, जिसके कारण कहीं ना कहीं मीडिया का पूरा झुकाव अर्बन पॉपुलेशन के साथ है. हमें लगता है किसान अगर ज़िंदा नहीं रहा तो देश जिंदा नहीं रहेगा, लोगों को सोच बदलनी पड़ेगी.
जो अभी अनाज पैदाश होने वाले थे, फसल, वो नहीं आए, पानी नहीं था. वो सबसे बड़ी मराठवाड़ा में दुष्काल जिसको बोलते हैं।
मंजूर नहीं हुआ है, एक आदमी को भी पट्टा नहीं मिला है, इसलिए हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि वो जो वन कानून जो है उसका हमें पट्टा मिलना चाहिए, 7/12 मिलना चाहिए, जो जब तक नहीं मिलता तब तक हम लड़ते रहेंगे।
Although India is the second largest originated country of the world after China, only 1/3 of the cropped area is under irrigation. This is India, where rainfall is uncertain, unreliable, and erratic.
There is a climate change, so erratic monsoon is one of the major reason behind this entire distress. Some year there will be rainfall, after couple of years there will be no rainfall. So because of that, there is the groundwater table has been gone drastically down, and that has impact resulting to drought and many shortage of water and other kind of situation. Like in Maharashtra also currently we are facing the severe drought which was happened in 1971.
वाटर प्रॉब्लम जो है वेस्टर्न हिली रीजन जो है नासिक ज़िले के एडजेसेंट में गुजरात में बहता हुआ जो पानी जा रहा है उसको अगर ईस्ट में लाया जाए तो ये पानी किसानों के लिए बहुत सारा फ़ायदेमंद होता है।
The water policy has also seen huge diversions of water from agriculture to industry.
The farmers struggling to cope with the agrarian crisis were also demanding proper implementation of their land rights and compensation for farm labourers.
It all comes from the Forest Rights Act of 2006. So Forest Rights Act of 2006 provided a stage, it gave a hope to all the tribal communities that if you are living in a forest area for 3 generations, then you may come and file your claim to get your forest rights. You get a land of forest where you can do your small timber produce, you can take the forest produce at a minor level and use it for your livelihood, and also farming cultivation is allowed.
आमच्या घरामध्ये 2 हेक्टर जमीन म्हणजे 2 एकर नाही 2 एकर जमीन आहे, तर 2 एकर जमीनमध्ये आमच्या गुजारा होऊ शकत नाही. गुजारा का नाही होऊ शकत, तर आमच्या पोट भरलं जात नाही 2 एकरमध्ये. त्याच्यामुळे जे नवरा असतो, नवऱ्याची एक बायको राहते, ते बायकोच्या नावावरती पण झालं पाहिजे जमीन 2 हेक्टरमध्ये, त्याच्या पण लाईनमध्ये नाव आला पाहिजे. 7/12वरती त्याचं पण नाव आला पाहिजे. आणि नाव आल्यानंतर जर नाही नाव आला तर आमच्या समाजामध्ये 2-2 बायका पण करून घेतात. त्याच्यामुळे ती एक बाई राहिली, पहिली बाई राहिली त्याला गाडीवर लाथ मारून हाकलून पण देतात. त्याच्यामुळे बाईचं नाव आलाच पाहिजे जमिनीमध्ये.
Farmers from all over India expressed their angst and protested against the budget 2019.
It has not at all helped farmers. It has in fact betrayed the farmers' cause, the 2019 budget, for the very simple reason that in 2014, Mr. Narendra Modi and his BJP had promised farmers 2 things. One is they had promised loan waiver to the farmers of India. Secondly, they had promised that they would give 1.5 times the cost of production. That is what is called the Swaminathan Commission formula. These are the 2 promises he had made in every election speech. Nearly 440 election speeches he made in 2014. These things were there in the BJP manifesto also. But in the last 5 years, nothing has been done for both these. Neither loan waiver by the centre, nor 1.5 times the cost of production of land as MSP. MSP means minimum support price. Nothing has been done last 5 years. And now what does he do? Now the budget gives farmers so-called 6,000 rupees per year. Family, that's for a family with less than 5 acres of land, correct? Out of that, only 2,000 is going to be given first. They are saying in 3 installments, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. Whether this government remains, that's a moot question. So only 2,000, what he is saying is this. Now, what does, even suppose 6,000 is given, what does it translate to? For a 6,000 per year means 500 per month. 500 per month means if there are 5 people in a family, which is the norm in the rural areas, you get 100 rupees per day per person. Now per day, how much does it come? 3 rupees 33 paise. You understand?
In order to protest against the betrayal of farmers by the BJP central and state governments, farmers owing allegiance to CPM's peasant wing, All India Kisan Sabha, initiated a long march from Nasik in North Maharashtra to Mumbai between February 20th and 27th. A similar long march took place earlier in March 2018, in which 50,000 farmers participated and media did not give them enough coverage until the third day. Let's see what the TV media was showing during that time.
क्या साईं बाबा का जन्म हिंदू परिवार में हुआ?
9 दिनों तक दिल्ली में जन जागरण के जरिए अयोध्या में राम मंदिर निर्माण का जनमत तैयार किया जाएगा।
हे बजरंग बली, जाति पर खलबली।
सियासत के धर्म युद्ध में सवाल ये भी उठता है, अगर महाभारत की लड़ाई है तो यहाँ कौन कौरव है और कौन पांडव है?
I'm just telling you the real inside story. Even the first 2 days of the march, the mainstream media did not pick it up. They did not cover it too well. Just small clips here and there.
What happened then was, on the third day, the Marathi media began to realize that something very big was happening. It also created a spectacular situation when they were climbing the Kasara Ghat in Thane. As that 40,000 people were moving around there, the leader of that group, Ajay Navle, went ahead on a motorcycle, climbed a tree and did a 30-second, 40-second video, take it off the net, of that huge crowd coming up. That went viral.
If you look at media coverage of farmers' issues, it's not happening. Now, when they marched from Nasik, it was not just the farmers, there were many tribal peasants among them. And it was a question of their land rights under the Forest Rights Act. So, will they get that land or not, on which the government has been delaying? But nobody understood this issue. So, the media's coverage is people and good Samaritans in Mumbai came and helped them. I mean, it's a human interest story. As a journalist, I'll tell you that. It's a human interest story. You're not looking at the real story.
They are actually whitewashed by the corporate media. Some small things they have to give to trickle, to at least maintain somewhat of their credibility. So certain things come. But overall, their whole approach is absolutely negative regarding getting the real issues of the people to the people.
The primetime media has always focused more on soft stories rather than putting out the real issues with an informed opinion about it. But fortunately, there were some good voices out there too.
Who's teaching us this? Stop for a second and ask yourself, who's teaching us this? When was the last time you had a decent conversation from a politician about jobs, about farmers, about demonetization, for heaven's sake? We currently have a situation where the finance minister, the RBI governor and the economic advisor to the government are making statements about each other like the three of them cannot get on a phone call and sort out their differences. Who's going to talk about that?
There is no cross-questioning, there is no challenging of what he said. As a result of which, the interviews seem as if they're providing a platform to the Prime Minister, much like a speech. And he's allowed to answer at length, sometimes rambling without any attempt to bring him back. That's one huge concern, the way we interview the Prime Minister.
If you look at the last 15 years of analysis, there were media companies which were biased. There were media companies which were close to the government. But there were also media companies which were very critical. I'm talking of UPA 1 and UPA 2. Very critical of UPA 1 and UPA 2. But once the NDA's power is back in power, now it seems that there is no criticism. So what are the media companies fearing?
There's a lot of fear now in the industry. Look at what's happening to journalists. They're getting targeted. Somebody got killed. So there's a lot of fear that is set in, which we didn't have 10, 15 years ago. Like, we could write on anything.
Yeah, but some of it is absolutely craven money grubbing. Yeah, there are some of it is fear. Yeah, of course they fear, but many are willing accomplices in the creation of that fear. Okay, there are many leading anchors whose default position is on their knees licking Modi's boots. Yeah, not all of them are doing it out of fear. There is fear. They also think that way.
Okay, so why is that happening? Why is the media compromised? So because of the fact that you are not only very looking at commercial constraints, but also because of the fact that you want money or commerce or finance, you are willing to compromise your ideologies. Okay, you're willing to sell out to an ideology. There have been so many sting operations which have shown that the media can do, can even print a fake story or can twist a story.
One thing we must understand, especially the big media, is all corporate owned. That's a very major point. Now, if it is corporate owned, things that I told you now, 3.5 lakh crores being waived off, 11.5 lakh crores NPAs, why would they advertise it? It's not in their interest.
You can't have Mukesh Ambani own all the media. As I said some time ago, in another 10 years, all of us could be working for Mr. Ambani because he's buying up all the media that there is.
The corporate funded media were now making excuses about not showing the real stories by saying that they don't get enough readership and viewership on such stories, and that affects their journalism model.
Why we are not doing more hard news stories? We do it, but again, like I said, if you look at us, our readership has fallen a lot drastically with the Hindu, because these kind of issues don't really get readership. Or I mean, even our a lot of our readers are like, it's the same story.
The media, the model here in India is based on the readership or advertisement driven model, newspaper or any media model. From where they get advertisement? Farmers are not the advertiser giver. They don't pay the advertisement. And here most of the newspaper and our TV media is also 99% subsidized. So therefore the revenue has to recover from the advertisement. Farmer doesn't pay, therefore the farmer news very hardly come on the front page or any prime time. If something happens in South Bombay or Copper, that news always come on front page.
English media is lacking behind, and primary reason is the viewership or the readers who are subscribing to English media and English newspapers. So that gap will be there and has been there. So one thing is, again, there is a revenue model involved in this. So unless you address that revenue model, you won't be able to correct it.
And this debate, this argument that it's because for TRPs and nobody's watching interested in farmer stories, false. First of all, this entire way of measuring TRPs in our country is very suspect.
A heck of a lot of people imagine this is all journalism. And here it is tucked away, a little line that they were compelled to introduce a few years, 10 odd years ago. It says, advertorial entertainment industry promotional feature. Translated into English, that means every word here is paid for.
Journalists were trying to hold the citizens accountable for their own flaws. But the fact of the matter was that through the media, the government was trying to brainwash the citizens.
The citizens are going by what? This becomes the syndrome of blaming the victim. Yeah, sure, the citizens. Why are the citizens that way? Has the media ever shown them other possibilities? Does it ever tell them that all these economic policies we've been praising, liberating the market, that these could actually be the cause of that misery? Will they ever do that?
गवर्नमेंट के साथ में अगर मीडिया है तो किसान को न्याय मिलने की उम्मीद बहुत कम रहती है.
We see that the government's lawyers also try to speak in a different manner and bring some issues which are like the requirement of the day, which are being used in the TV media. Such same words are used in courts, same words are used in TV media, to bring that narrative in attack someone's subconscious mind who's looking at the media and the print media both. They just grasp it. When you do not see the other side and you just show just one side altogether, then you will end up grasping that because you don't know the other side.
It also undermines the essential reasons why discussions happen, which is to expose the audience to a variety of different viewpoints spoken by different voices, leaving it to the audience to judge and decide for themselves who they agree with and who they don't. You simply air the different viewpoints and probe and point out the problems with those positions, but the audience is left to decide for itself. Here the anchor is determined to push his line to the exclusion of any other option.
So it's a very slow process of brainwashing and creating that idea of a dictatorship, country with a dictatorship.
This is the reality of Indian journalism in 2019. It positions a big question mark on media's face about its roles and duties, considering that it is seen as the fourth pillar of democracy.
It's shocking to me that while the present generation knows Bhagat Singh, they know him as a martyr, a revolutionary, a radical, How many of you knew that he was a full-time professional journalist who wrote in 4 newspapers and in 4 languages? All that by the age of 23. These were your journalists. Yeah. I mean, just imagine from Bhagat Singh to the clowns you see now.
How did the media cover the farmers' distress? The media should be actually looking at their real problems. Now, the media should be looking at real issues in society. What are the real issues in society? Is everybody going to sleep hungry, or is everybody going to sleep with a full stomach? Are there jobs for people? Is there communal harmony in society? These are the real stories. These are the real, stories that has to be debated.
Good journalism is a conversation between a newspaper and society. Good journalism is a nation or a society in argument with itself.
Media is considered as the 4th pillar in democratic countries, along with legislature, executive and judiciary. As without a free media, democratic system cannot cease to exist. So here is hoping that journalism is taken seriously, for we know what a force it can be.